Steeped in history and just 165 kilometres from Adelaide, Moonta was South Australia's second largest town in its heyday. Moonta's origins in 1861 were very fortunate. A shepherd noticed traces of copper on a wombat burrow, which led to the establishment of the Moonta Mining Company, that soon became one of the richest. These row cottages in Moonta all look the same, built for the miners working in the mines. Another early cottage built about 1865. There was once a horse-drawn tram service in Moonta. This is one of the few remaining pieces of evidence of its existence, a cutting where the tram line went. The coloured postcard shows two of the trams about 1920. When the Moonta tramways closed in 1931, the two trams of best condition were towed by a railway line inspection car to the Islington workshop for overhaul. They were standard South Australian rail.
Verco's shop and residence built about 1878. Polly's bonnet shop built about 1870 is now holiday accommodation. Methodist church built about 1873. The church is in the Gothic style and built of coursed limestone walling. The memorial stone was laid by Charles Drew on the 6th of October 1873. It was built by Wesleyan Methodists. The opening services were held on the 2nd of August 1874. The cost of the building was £4,000. The former Moonta Church of Christ building is now privately owned. The building was originally erected in 1873 for the Bible Christian Methodist Church, but was sold in 1913 to the Churches of Christ. It has now been closed for many years. Here is another set of row cottages, but in a different style. The Salvation Army Barracks in Moonta has two foundation stones which were laid on the 30th of March, 1901. The first was by Thomas H. Cook, the mayor of Moonta, and the second was by Brigadier Birkinshaw, SCO. This building has had a very checkered past and has been expanded over the years. It began as a Baptist church who built the south section. In 1891 the School of Mines in Moonta was established and used the building until 1915 for practical training in mining. During their time they enlarged the building 3 times in 1896, 1904 and 1906. During this time the district high school was in the building from 1910 until 1937. It became a technical school in 1915 offering adult classes until 1992. The following year the National Trust of South Australia, Moonta branch, took over ownership of the building. The Moonta Fire Station is staffed by retained firefighters who provide emergency response and community recovery services 24 hours per day, every day of the year. The MFS has delivered emergency services to the Moonta community since the original station was established by the South Australian Fire Brigade on 1 January 1891. Here we have the historic Moonta Oval where football, cricket, annual shows and other events are held. The first recorded match was played between Wallaroo and Moonta at the Wallaroo Oval on the 12th of September 1874. The club colours for Moonta were pink Hessian sugar bags, Wallaroo wore blue Hessian sugar bags. The game went for 90 minutes with the team changing ends at halftime. Wallaroo won the game with only 1 goal being scored. They continued to play games against themselves until 1888 when competition games were then organised. Moonta were known as the Natives. I can't tell you much about Colhele House except that it was built about 1890 and has a great kangaroo in the front garden. Victoria Park in Moonta was established in the 1830s as a land care plantation by community efforts to protect the town from drift sand and to commemorate the reign of Queen Victoria. It is now being preserved as a bush park with many of the original tracks being maintained by the current Walkers of the park. It is especially beautiful in spring with the flowers and bird life. Many of the current plants being self-sown by birds, as no official plantings have happened for over 130 years. There are many areas suitable for picnics. The All Saints Anglican Church has services every Sunday, have an op shop open one day a weekend, a community garden that is open for a pleasant walk through all the time. The church was erected about 1873 or 4. It was designed in the early English Gothic style as the second Anglican church in Moonta, and is an excellent example of the influence of the Church of England in the mining community of Moonta and the prosperity of the Moonta mines in the early 1870s. The principal aesthetic elements: exposed hammer beam roof structure, pipe organ and stained glass memorial windows, reinforce the building's status as an important example of an early English Gothic style church translated into colonial South Australia. St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church in Moonta is a solid building, with limestone walls and iron roof. The foundation stone for this church was laid by Bishop Shiel on the 11th of July 1869. And the church was opened on the 12th of December 1869. It remains as it was built, except for the addition of a vestry to the front of the building. The discovery of copper in the north of the Yorke Peninsula in the 1860s resulted in a sudden influx of people to work in the mines and provide associated services. The town of Moonta became home to miners from around the world, in particular experienced miners from Cornwall in southwest England. It was on the 20th of October 1868 that a meeting of Freemasons at the Royal Hotel in Moonta decided that a lodge be formed, and that it be called the Duke of Edinburgh Lodge. The owner of the hotel, himself a Freemason, agreed to the lodge holding its meetings there. The lodge first met in the Royal Hotel and later, 1874, in the Bible Christian Church Hall, now the School of Mines building. In September 1874 tenders were called for the erection of a Masonic Hall, which was erected the following year. I can't tell you much about the Moonta School. It was built in 1877. Eventually the high school combined with the primary school, making it an area school. The Moonta Hotel was built in 1863 and still holds its original architecture.
This was the site of the original showgrounds from 1872 until 1926, when it was moved into town to the current oval.